Today's MMA Tea Company fight preview is with Cam Allgeier. Cam is the current 247 Fighting Championships amateur bantamweight champion. He'll be defending that belt at Brawl in the Burgh 8 on August 7th against Asher Frederick. Both fighters are 5-0 coming into this fight. Cam, thanks for joining us tonight. I know you just got back from training. What's training looking like now that you're in the last week of this fight camp before your fight on Saturday?
Just moving around, I don't like to uh, tone it down like all the way. Like I still like to be getting touched. I like, grappling, rolling, doing light striking, but it definitely gets toned down some. The coaches get on me. They're like, all right, you're fighting here soon. Don't get hurt. Don't be stupid. So
Is that that kind of intensity, that kind of pace, that's just something you like to keep all the time in the gym? I noticed you fight with a pretty high pace, so you just like to keep that all the time?
yeah, I mean, I came, from wrestling background and wrestling. You go in a wrestling room, you're going live the entire time. Like even you're drilling, but you're drilling full speed, and just kind of carried over. There's some other people in the gym who come from wrestling backgrounds, so kind of works out all together.
And I think a lot of people categorize you as a wrestler, right? They think you're going to come out and you're just going to shoot and take people down. And, people have been critical about your style in the past, right? And say that you're just a ground fighter. But then you came out against Bobby and you dropped him early in the first round. So talk to me a little bit about your striking and the confidence that you have in your hands.
I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who remembers that. I got to remind everybody in the gym, like, yeah, I pulled that punch, but, I could have sat you right down. I mean, obviously, I work on striking everything. It's just if plan A works, 90% of the time, why go to plan B?
Mhm.
It's like Khabib. He had a great jab, but I mean, you're Khabib. Why would you ever try to, jab somebody in a fight? That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and it makes sense. And it's one of those things, right, that if people don't stop it, why go away from it, right?
Yeah.
And now, you got a couple fights under your belt. You're 5-0. I'm assuming this fight's going to be under advanced rules.
Yes.
Okay, so in the advanced rules, right, you can ground and pound, you can strike to the head. Um, so that has to also kind of play a factor into you, right, wanting to be on top, wanting to use that wrestling, because now you can finish someone from on top, whereas in amateur fights up until 3, 4, whatever Serb approves, it's just kind of to the body.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whenever you're on top, the risk that you have is pretty low. Like even if you're in somebody's full guard, they got three options. They're gonna try to sweep you. They're gonna try to stand up, or they're gonna try to throw up an armbar.
Hmm.
So if you're on the feet, you got to worry about so much more. So it's nice being on top, just beating somebody up. Nice and relaxing in there. Less stress.
It is. And you guys at your gym, you have a pretty good stable of fighters. I know Ethan has a fight coming up, Sid's fighting on your card, and you also have some I don't want to say younger, but just newer fighters who are always coming in and seeing, guys making debuts here and there. Talk to me a little bit about your team, training out there day in, day out. Um, and what aspects of that gym you're enjoying and what's keeping you there.
Yeah, I mean, I love the atmosphere there. Like my head coach Ray Ross, that he's like a second dad to me. Like, it'd be hard to ever leave, go to a different gym. Like it's literally like a family feel. Like I know a lot of people say that about their gym, and recently we've been having a lot of people come through. A couple people looking to make a debut who are pretty good. Jordan's coming. He's going to be fighting on the Johnstown card. He got really good hands boxed since he was a kid. I mean, we got Kate in there, great wrestler. So you got a bunch of everything. Um, so it's a good mix. It's not a lot of people, but everybody that's there is good. So, you don't need to have 80 people in a gym. You need to have good people in a gym. That's what we got going on now.
And I can only imagine that getting work with Caden day in and day out is making that wrestling base of yours even stronger. And you guys are probably going back and forth all the time trying to one up each other.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it much of a back and forth, you know. Sometimes I get a takedown. It's nice. But by and large, there's a reason that he's D1 and I couldn't walk onto a D2 team.
And he had a great debut too, right? And he showed, like we talked about earlier with your hands, he showed, phenomenal hands in that fight. And everybody thinks he's just going to come out and blast double and put you on your back for the entire fight. And it's
Yeah,
something
he
that,
hits hard.
yeah,
He does it all
yes, he does.
practice.
He hits hard. He does exactly. Um, and you talked about, you say, you pull a punch every once in a while in the gym, and you could have cracked somebody with it. And want to talk to you about just kind of that aspect of fighting, right? When you're coming up through, and those first couple amateur fights, it always seems like everybody's a little bit hesitant and they don't really want to let their hands go. And that fight that you had with Bobby, I really saw that you were just, if you saw an opening, you were really letting your hands fly and you were really connecting and making commitments on those strikes. Is that something that for you um, was ever an issue, ever like a mental block, or was it always just like, I'm going to put my hands on you, I'm not going to pull punches, I'm not going to hesitate?
I had a lot of issues with generating offense whenever I wrestled. Like in the practice room, I'd be great, and then I'd go on a mat and be a guy I'd be at a wrestling club with, and I'd pin him 3 times in a go, and then we go to wrestle on the actual wrestling mat, and they'll major decision me. So it was like one of them things. Whenever I started fighting, I was like, yeah, I got to be sure that I could let my offense go, and just something I was always aware of. Like, I'm in a fight. It is what it is. I could not throw offense and I definitely lose, or I could do something and if I lose, at least I lost trying my best. Like I could always like sleep at night with a loss that I at least performed in.
Sure.
It's not really outcome based; it's performance based, especially as an amateur.
Mhm. And the mentality going into an amateur fight is that of, right, they're all learning experiences and you always want to improve from one fight to the other. And once you go pro, right, that amateur record, whatever it was, goes back to 0-0. So going into these fights, they are a fist fight, right? You are going out and fighting someone else. It's not like just because it's an amateur fight it's any less pain or anything like that. Do you get nervous before fights? Do you get like anxious, or are you kind of just as laid back and relaxed as you and I talking right now?
Oh, I definitely get nervous. I feel like everybody does. Anybody who says they don't, I'm saying they're a liar. I've not met one person in the back who's like, oh yeah, just going out and having a fight. Um, I mean, I try to stay as calm, like in the back. I try to keep it as close to a practice environment. Because you think you fight every single day at practice, like I just want to keep it as close as that and go out. But yeah, it's nerve wracking. I mean, I'm about to get half naked in front of all my friends and family, get in a fist fight with somebody who's been training for 8 weeks to take my head off. Like it's nerve wracking for sure.
And do you? I know it's like a couple of days out from the fight, 4 days out, 5 days out, whatever it is now. Do you cut a lot of weight? Do you have a big weight cut, or is it kind of miserable right now, or are you just kind of chilling, flying into the scale?
I mean, I'm not a big 35er. Sometimes, I let myself go a little bit,
Mhm.
but I mean, this one I'm pretty much on track.
Okay.
The head coach is his wife, and she's a actual nutritionist, certified nutritionist. So I'm a free nutritionist. It's great, and man, she's a miracle worker. There was a couple camps where I was like, listen, like I am heavy. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. She's like, oh yeah, you just do this, do this, do that. In like 3 days, you'll be good. And sure enough, I'll go from. I remember the patent fight. It was the Tuesday before, so about same time frame. Um, I was like 153.8 on the Tuesday before, and yeah, so I on Friday whenever I did my water cut, I only had to cut 5 pounds of water. I was like, I don't know how that happened, but she worked a miracle.
And that's that's almost the fight before the fight, right? A lot of people, their biggest stress is, am I going to make weight? So with you being able to kind of have that dialed in already in your 5 fights in your sixth fight, knowing that protocol, it's got to take a lot of stress off your day to day going into weigh-ins.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I've wrestled, since middle school, and I missed weight one time, and that was the end of that. Like, I missed that weight one time, and it's like, all right, never again.
And you mentioned this guy. Most people, they're if the fight's set up in with plenty of time, they're training specifically for you to take your head off for 8 weeks. Um, what do you know about Asher? What do you think he's going to come out and do? Both guys being 5-0, so he's got to be doing something right along the way.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much video of him. Um, I saw one fight of his that I can find online, and the rest I don't know. He said he wrestled. He said he did kickboxing, so he's gonna be an MMA fighter like everybody else that I
Yep.
fought. You know, um, so I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I'm gonna go out fight my fight. Either I win or I don't. But off topic, but my thing with training camps for this is there is no way in 8 weeks that you're going to build a new skill set that counteracts somebody's skill set that they've been building their entire career. You know, so this like specific, like, oh, I'm fighting this type of person, so I'm going to train this, this, and this the whole time. It's like, yeah, until you get hit in the face, and then you're going to do what you've been doing, your whole career. Like that's just kind of how it goes. I've seen very few people, even in UFC, who are like, oh man, that guy had a game plan, he followed it.
Yeah, and it's also something at the regional level, whether it be regional pros or regional amateurs, and you even see it all the way up through the UFC. To be honest, is that fights fall through all the time, right? So you could be training for one specific guy. 2 weeks before the fight, Ryan hits you up. He's like, "Hey, so and so pulled out. We got a replacement for you. You were going to fight a southpaw who's a wrestler, and now you're fighting an orthodox taekwondo guy."
Yeah,
So that game plan you had just went out the window anyway.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, if you don't have a whole lot of tape on them, I personally never really like to watch tape on my opponents either. I just thought, I'll go out there, I'll see what they do. If I go to a cross train at a gym, I don't watch tape on those guys before I go spar with them. So I thought it was the same concept.
yeah. That's a good point.
Um, cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I like watching you fight. I think you know, Alex does too. We were talking about that earlier today. It's going to be an exciting fight. You and Sid on the same card, and then having Ethan come up soon. Before I let you go, just want to give you a chance to shout out anybody who's been helping you out, coaches, teammates, anybody that's been, in your corner along the way.
Yeah. Before I give all my shout outs, I want to say that I don't think you know it, but I had secret beef with you guys. So I go to fight um, Harnish. You guys got him signed to your thing. Then you go sign Ethan. You go sign Sydney. Then I fight Patton. You sign him. What's up with that? What did I finally do right?
So I talked to Ethan about signing you before the patent fight even. And he was like, yeah, I'll talk to Cam. He's hard to get in touch with. I was like, all right, I'll just wait for Ethan to get back to me. So then I reached out to you. I was like, I'm just going to say something to him because I don't know if Ethan ever talked to him. And I texted Ethan at the same time. He's like, yeah, I'll say something to him at the gym today.
Right. Good cover.
Yeah. So we're going to blame it on Ethan. And then that's going to cover for me not making him his raccoon rash guard yet.
Oh, yeah. Raccoon King. Yeah. Shout out to, coaches, Darren, Ray. I mean, they're great. Um, the training partners, Sydney, Caden, everybody else, Ethan. Ethan, I got to give him a lot of credit, man. Every single day, he just walks in and he gets beat up every single day. And it gotta be disheartening after a while. It's just guy, weight class lower than you, a lot better looking, still has a full head of hair, just whooping on you. I mean, he comes in every single day regardless. He's a great dude. That wraps it up, I think.
I think that's about it. If Caden's watching this, let him know. We'd love to work with him too.
Oh, we'll do.
All right. I appreciate it, Cam. Good luck on Saturday. We'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.